Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today is Monday, and of course that means it's countdown day here on the channel, and as of this recording we are in the midst of the, I'll call it the holiday week of 2021. Last week's countdown was the top 10 characters, figures that came out of the entire War for Cybertron trilogy. This week, as voted on by fans all across social media, this is the 10 worst War for Cybertron figures that came out across Siege, across Earthrise, and across Kingdom, across the whole pantheon of the War for Cybertron. These are, as voted on by fans, the top 10 worst figures that came out. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts and most festive of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton to let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all of the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And fans voted. The voting ended on Christmas Eve at midnight, and what we have here amassed are the top 10 worst. Some of these I agree with, some of these I don't agree with, but this isn't about my personal list this time. This is the fan voted all across the War for Cybertron trilogy. What were the 10 worst ones? If you're going to avoid something, these, according to fan input, these are probably the ones to avoid. Like I said, I can't say I personally agree with them all, but they are what they are. In terms of honorable mentions, we actually have 3, or I suppose dishonorable mentions this time around. Paleotrex being one of them. Now, to be fair, some people tried to vote for the general group, Fossilizers. And I said, no, that's a group. You got to give me a name. So I think some people defaulted to Paleotrex because he was the first one that came out. I personally really enjoyed the Fossilizers, but a lot of people didn't. Wingfinger, again, another Fossilizer. And Earthrise Ratchet. A lot of people thought that that was pretty bad. Again, I don't have anything against Earthrise Ratchet. I had to do a little bit of paint work on the guy, but I don't have anything against him, even though a lot of people had trouble getting him. But none of them made the list, so who did? You know what we're going to do. You know what we always do. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Coming in at number 10 is an oldie, but I guess instead of saying a goodie, I would say a baddie. Going all the way back to Siege, it's Chromia. She's garbage. This is a terrible mold with very loose hips, tons of kibble that hinders the articulation. These grenade pieces, they like to just kind of fall off, like, you know, if I move her, like, you can see how her hips are going, right? The front skirt pelvis piece, that comes off. This is a terrible mold. Utter trash, and for that reason it took the number 10 slot. Just as an aside before we do number 9 here, I like Chromia. I like the character. She deserved better, and I think that the Generations, even though that turns into a bike, I still think that that's better than what we got with Siege. She needs to be redone. Simple as that. But number 9. Number 9 is one that, honestly, I really like. Really like. And the main criticisms are... One of them I kind of get. The other one, I've never understood. It's this guy, a Grapple. Now, the first criticism is that in vehicle mode, he's too small. He doesn't scale right. He should be bigger. I agree with that, but the robot mode scales the way that he should. So I guess what they did is they looked at this guy and said, look, we can only scale in vehicle or in robot, not both. And I guess they opted to go with robot. The other reason, the bigger reason that people voted for this guy is the pegs breaking issue. Very, very common, where a lot of people back here in these holes on the feet say that the pegs broke off. It has not happened to me. I don't understand how it happens. Mine were tight at first, but I put them in the peg holes and I pulled it back out and put it in and pulled it back out several times. I guess I wore it down a little bit. That being said, I never once wiggled it. I only ever pulled it straight out. That's the trick. You have to pull it straight out. If you wiggle it, you're probably going to break it. And I guess a lot of people have the inclination to wiggle it. It's very much a very straight in and a very straight out manner. I don't know. I get it. I know it's widespread. I guess I'm lucky that I have not yet at least encountered it. When you have a breakage issue, when there are concerns about the scaling, whether I agree with it or not, I understand why a lot of people would vote for this guy, and enough did that he took the number 9 slot. Number 8, I get. It comes from the Kingdom line, and it's Cheetor. Yeah, I get this. I understand this. My first one crumbled to pieces. My Netflix one has not crumbled, but there is a little crack on the neck, very small one, because the neck is paper thin. He was missing paint apps. The transformation, while great, is being applied here to the wrong size class. It's happened before. It happened with Universe Galvatron. It's happened with a lot of the Studio Series Bumblebees, where it's kind of over-engineered for its small, diminutive size. I think that this could have been helped. I don't think it necessarily had to be Voyager or anything like that. All you had to do was not thin out the plastic as much. If the plastic felt robust and thick, like you're not going to break it, then I think this guy would have been a far bigger success than what he is. When you have something that literally, for me and for others, crumbles to pieces, when you have something that literally is known to have a finicky transformation because of its size, a lot of people got to vote for it, and a lot did, and enough thought that those issues were significant in the grand scheme of things that he was able to take the number 8 slot. Number 7 both did and did not surprise me, and it's this big boy, the Arc. Okay, so having an Arc is cool. There's no doubt about it. It's neat to have an Arc. This, in terms of all the Titans, is the least interactive Titan we've ever gotten, because he doesn't turn into a base or anything. You can take some of those very tiny little figurines and they can go like up here in really what's mainframe. I do like mainframe, and I do like that he turns into a version of Teletran 1, although I think it just looks like a computer more than Teletran 1. But I think a lot of people were disappointed because they look at the other, I don't even have this piece in here out. I think a lot of people looked at this and said, all the other Titans, at least they're interactive and they're interesting. This guy isn't really, and his robot mode is known to have a real tight shoulder, which a lot of people have said is an issue. It will get chewed up, much akin to the hip of Trypticon and how that got chewed up. So they don't believe in the longevity of it, and they don't like that the paint deco changed between the final copy here and what we saw in some product images. So there were a lot of things going against this guy. His hands aren't even articulated. I get it. Like, I'm happy enough to have him. I wanted him as the last Autobot more than the Arc, even though he's in Arc mode right now. He's all right, but considering that his price, at least here in Canada, went up for a Titan by, I believe it was about 20 bucks or so. Like, I don't see $20 extra value here from what we've gotten with other Titans. Not for me personally, and I guess not for enough fans that he was able to take the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, we have this little guy, Soundbarrier. He's a piece of floor. I mean, he has the most boring of alt modes. I mean, even Scrounge turned into a wheel. You know, at least he could move. This guy just turns into a piece of floorboard. And that's not the best of it. This particular mold is known to have breakage issues, especially down around like the hips and stuff. Like, it has breakage issues. It's boring. It doesn't turn into anything really usable or good. What a waste of development in plastic. And enough people felt that way that he took the number 6 slot. You know where we are. You definitely know where we are if you've been paying attention. We are at the most coveted of locations on these lists. You know where it is. The halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we have a version of a character that I guess I kind of see it. It was not perfect for a number of reasons, but it's fine for me, and it fills the bill for my needs and my tastes, even though it doesn't for a lot of people. That being said, mine got some work done with it. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about this guy. It is the Earthrise version of Ironhide. A lot of people got a lot of problems with this. Let's go through the reasons people voted. The front windshield doesn't tab in all the way. They felt like the front windshield section of the Siege was better. The hollow forearms, though mine now have a 3D printed piece that fills that. The hollow feet, mine also have a filler piece to fill that in. The feet on the back of the vehicle at all. And the fact that the entire top of the vehicle is just one long parts forming piece. And when you transform this guy, the fact that the windows are a mix of like just molded in red detail and translucent plastic. I get it. There's a lot of issues with this mold. I don't know why they struggle so much with Ironhide. I've never understood why he's so difficult to do. He really shouldn't be, but he is nevertheless. I don't know. I'm happy with him. I don't know if I would put him on the worst, but a lot of people pointed out a lot of different fiddly, finicky little issues with this guy that he had to take the number 5 slot. Now, number 4 I don't have, but it is the Netflix Elita 1. This mold, basically, yeah, this is the Paradron Medic, but the Netflix Elita 1, that's not a great mold. It's not even that bad. It's just that you quintessentially have all of the vehicle mode on the back, and the robot, like, it works fine. In terms of Elita, I don't understand why there was this tan color, and then her thighs were white. Like, I don't know, either make the whole leg tan or the whole leg white. I don't know. I found the tan really threw me off. Honestly, when we got the Power of the Primes plain version, I said then, like, we were like about 30 years getting a proper Elita 1. What's the chance we're going to get another one? And then we got this. And I still stuck with the Power of the Primes. I said, you know what? I'm okay with her being a plain because I thought it was better than this. Now the word is we're getting yet a third Elita 1. Will she be better? I guess we'll find out. But a lot of people weren't a fan of the Netflix version. I think it might have helped if the Netflix version had actually looked like the character that was on screen, because she had a very kind of sleek, slender type of robot mode, even though I don't think we ever did see an alt mode for her on the show. Nevertheless, enough people complained about her paint, enough people didn't like the transformation, enough people didn't think the mold matched Elita 1, that she took the number 4 slot. And now we're into the top 3, and coming in at number 3 is Rhinox, Kingdom Rhinox. 3 reasons were given for Rhinox by voters. First, his head is inaccurate. He doesn't have the maximal symbols on the side of his head as Beast Wars Rhinox should. Secondly, people said in Rhino mode we have miscolored hinges here. Maybe they should have been done in the gray rather than the green. And in conjunction with that, the Gatling gun seemed real tiny this time around. And the biggest reason that this guy was voted for worst is because of the atrocious, in a lot of people's estimation, atrocious and dangerous leg transformation that they feel like is going to result in breakage much sooner than later. I get it. I understand it. I honestly really like the Thrilling 30 version myself, even though I do have this guy because one of the scraplets claimed my Thrilling 30 version. He's still in the house, but he's no longer mine. Kids, what are you gonna do? Nevertheless, I understand all of the gripes on this guy, and enough fans felt the same way that he was able to take the number 3 slot. And now at number 2, we have one that I don't personally agree with. Certainly not being number 2, but I understand that perhaps more than any other character, any other figure that came out, this particular one is known to have the biggest QC variances across the board. It's Kingdom Tracks, man. Kingdom Tracks. So, okay, here are the things that people voted for when they voted for this guy. They said he's missing paint apps. He's supposed to have some red and yellow on the wings. Yup. He's supposed to have some, maybe some more detail on his pelvis hair, possibly. I don't recall. Some people said they didn't like the number tampoed like on his shin. I ended up taking that off of mine. Some people said that they found the hips really loose. Some people said they didn't like all of the translucent painted plastic that was used on this guy. But the biggest reason is the outer leg and foot area. People say the legs just don't tab in. They just plain don't tab in. My Tracks tabs in pretty good. My Road Rage, not quite as much. I understand all of the gripes. I understand that some people are saying, mine is perfect, mine is tremendous, mine is excellent, and other people are saying, mine is garbage, mine is trash, mine is loosey-goosey. Even mine had one little crack that occurred during transformation. Yeah, Trax looks great, but he's got a lot of issues and a lot of QC variation that he has been a very polarizing character. And enough people have had enough bad experiences with this mold that he was able to take the number 2 slot. And now here we are at number 1. The top one from all of the trilogy. This one is the absolute deemed worst. I don't know if I would say it's the worst, but I definitely say it's the laziest. It, of course, is Arcee. What a shame that she gets the bad rap she does. Here's the thing. The mold isn't even that bad. Like, pretty functional robot, great stability, even though these heels are gigantic, but she needs them for that stability. She looks generally accurate, but a lot of people, man, just don't like, same thing from earlier with the Elite One, they don't like the entire backpack being the vehicle mode. They said it's just lazy. You can literally take the entire alt mode off. You don't even need it. Like, this isn't a transformer. This is the epitome of a shell former. It's just some more QC should have went into this. Even, as a lot of people said, the Generations, the Thrilling 31, whatever you want to call it, at least that incorporated the robot parts into the vehicle. That wasn't even attempted here. I get it. I understand it. Do I personally think she's the worst from the whole trilogy? No, but this isn't about me. This is about you guys, and enough fans did think that she is the worst in the trilogy that she easily, by far, she doubled, almost tripled the votes from number 2. She by far took the number 1 slot. And ladies and gentlemen, there you go, 10 down to 1 once again for the entire War for Cybertron trilogy. Some I agreed with, some I didn't. I'm going to give you some others that got votes but didn't make it to the honorable mentions or on the list. Road Rage, for example, the Alicons, for example. Some of the Micromasters, like Growl had one. High Jump had a couple of votes. Double Dealer had a couple of votes. Which I don't get. I like Double Dealer. Kingdom Magnus. I don't find Kingdom Magnus bad. I just think he was redundant and unnecessary. Siege Mirage, because of the translucent plastic, a lot of people didn't like. Hoist, Top Shot, another Micromaster there with Top Shot. G2 Megatron, the camo colored one. Cliff Jumper had a few votes. The Quintesson had a few votes because it transformed into like a nothing type of thing. Sunstreaker because of the mismatched yellow. Wheeljack, somebody said that their knees and their arms fall off. I love my Wheeljack. The part of the windshield that's on the knee, that has come off on one of my legs, but I've never had my arms fall off on my Wheeljack. Interesting. Wingfinger, Wingfinger was not Wingfinger, because Wingfinger wasn't an honorable mention or a dishonorable mention. I meant to say Ractonite. Core Hot Rod, I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it. That thing is just coming out. It's a lot of red, I'll say that. Maximal Grimlock. And just for interest's sake, just to throw one more in there, let's go with Earthrise Blue Streak. So there you go. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them, it's all about the fans. It's all about you guys and how you voted across the entire pantheon of the trilogy. And now that we've done that, that brings us to the year-end countdowns up and coming. It will be fan voted best and worst for 2021, and it will be my personal best and worst for 2021. I'm going to tell you now, if you get bent out of shape, I wouldn't watch my personal best and worst of 2021 because I think it's going to ruffle a few feathers. Just putting the warning, the disclaimer out there now. But if you have been around the channel, if you've been a fan for a long time, you probably already anticlimactically know how that list is likely to pan out. We will see. For now, let me know if your favorites or your least favorites made this list or not. I appreciate you guys coming by, give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, stick around, have some fun with us, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, every day, you do make a difference. Whether you realize it or not, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.